Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Chainlink and its valuations against Bitcoin. This won't be an in depth video, but uh, I want us to bring our attention to the 20-day moving average. And I think the theme of today, I mean, all the videos I'm making today are somewhat centered around the 20-day moving average, whether that's Bitcoin, Chainlink, uh, basic attention token, Uniswap, etc. They all seem to be at the moment, and I'm not saying this is a long term correlation because, as you can see, when you zoom out of the of and see the entire chart for Chainlink, the 20-day moving average isn't necessarily a hard and fast rule with in terms of price action, but for the past few days we have been fighting like against it here, right? You could also say here we were fighting to break above the 20-day moving average, and you could see any pumps way below the 20-day went up to the 20-day, and ones that did break out but failed to hold as support continued to move down, like we see here in this pattern. So here we are. The countless number of times, this is another time where we have gone above the 20-day moving average. And this is after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 daily candles of attempts of breaking this 20-day moving average, which is quite interesting. You could also say that this span of daily candles, you could also say that. But here we are, breaking above the 20-day moving average. Chainlink is 7% up against Bitcoin. This is something that we want to see. If we move it to the weekly candle, we are currently in our second weekly green candle. Do note, it is Wednesday. There are 4 days left in the week. A lot of things can happen in 4 days. However, these are good signs. This kind of gives me a little confidence if we're able to hold at least a green weekly candle like this, and especially like a hammer candle. We are starting to shift the narrative with Chainlink. Um, and this might be, it's not guaranteed, but this might be the start of that reversal we are talking about. Reversals don't happen overnight, they take weeks, they take days. In this case, it took months. You could say from the start of August all the way here we are now in the second week of January, and we're finally potentially turning things around. As you can see, every single time Chainlink had a green weekly candle, it was followed by a pretty nasty correction from Chainlink against Bitcoin. So this is what I was talking about. If we can hold this green weekly candle, it gives me a little bit more confidence on what lies ahead for the token. If we are to change this around, obviously the 20-day would have been broken by then if we see a clear turnaround. But we would also then want to aim for the 20-week. The 20-week right now is at 78,230 sats, and we are currently at 43,000, 44,000 sats. So there's a considerable amount of distance between us and the 20-week, and on a percentage basis, because I have the distance that I may set to the 20-week, where we're 43% away below the 20-week moving average. So we have a considerable ways to go. However, if we continue to trend upwards, if we are able to make the reversal, the 20-week moving average is still moving down. So that gap will be cut significantly in a few weeks. If we just take a general trend line, and in 1, 2, 3 weeks we'll be at 65,000, 66,000 sats. So we're pretty close, relatively speaking, in terms of time. We will get there eventually if this is the turnaround. And then and once it gets back up the 20-week, then I think we should be off to the races. As you can see, a considerable amount of time of Chainlink's price action has been above the 20-week, and when it's above the 20-week, it's pretty bullish. We see these rallies that happen when it comes above the 20-week every single time, or when it makes contact with the 20-week, it rallies. So this is what I'm expecting. I know this doesn't happen overnight, and you should know that too. And uh, it all it takes is patience. This is why we were accumulating when it was coming down here. That's where I was accumulating. I'm holding steadfast now. Um, my position of Chainlink has been the same for quite some time now, and it's just a waiting game now. I'm bullish that it will turn it around, and that's why I'm still holding, and that's why I'm waiting. I'm not selling at this point, and I'm not buying anymore. Uh, However, you can argue that this is still a good time to buy in the relative scheme of things. That any time below the 20-week and any time where price has been this low relative to the peak is you can argue is a good buy. In terms of the US dollar, we'll take it down to the US dollar. We are at $15.42. It wasn't too long ago when we were down to $8, and that was a few weeks ago, the third week of December. And we have rallied from the wick up to where we are now, almost 100%. To the top of the wick last week, we were at 129%. So we see the majority of the move. You could say from September to November, all the way up to a little bit of December, is Bitcoin's um, move up. Bitcoin dragged the US dollar valuation of Chainlink along with it, and potentially now, because we see this potential reversal of Chainlink against Bitcoin, the next moves of the US dollar is going to be attributed to the gaining of actually the gaining of Chainlink, and not due to price action of Bitcoin. And that's the real exciting part. That's when you get to see these explosive moves of Chainlink that we're so fond of, like this, like this, like this. Um, they're everywhere, and the examples of it are everywhere. And in actuality, when we look at the U.S. dollar, I understand that um, the concept of what Chainlink has done recently has been quite negative. But when you look at the um, US dollar valuation, it's not so different. It's not so different. We haven't really gone below the 20-week on the US dollar like we have seen in the past. We have been consistently hugging the 20-week actually for quite some time. We did break below it, but we rebounded up, which is a very good thing, and we have essentially consolidated on the 20-week, much like we have done in the past, like here, like here. And and now here we are in 3 weeks. We have moved above the 20-week, and it might look like we're also pushing the price higher on the US dollar. And in hindsight, maybe in 6 months, we'll look back and say, oh, okay, with Chainlink, it does have this accumulation phase. It looks like it was consolidating here on the 20-week before the next leg up, of course. And and nowhere will you see the comments of Chainlink being a dead coin, dropping 80 70+% against Bitcoin. It's useless. Uh, no, no, that it's actually far from that. We see that Chainlink goes after the pump, retraces, and starts moving essentially macro sideways. When you really look at it, this is a sideways action move. This was essentially a sideways action move, and this is, it was climbing up, but we were essentially consolidating. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Chainlink will be doing in the next few weeks. I am certainly here for it. Let me know if you are certainly here for it. And I've been holding this token for quite some time, not relatively long, definitely less than a year, but I'm excited to see what it can do in a bull market. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.